Welcome back to Anime Talks, everybody, and I am glad to be back to be dropping another episode. And in this one, I'm just telling you, go ahead, grab your snacks, grab you a drink, grab whatever you need, because this one is going to be pretty. It's up there. So we're going to be moving away from the usual again. We're kind of just jumping everywhere. That's why I love this, almost like an anthology of different animes. There's such thing as just sticking to a certain genre. We're here, and that is the beauty of doing stuff like this. So let's get straight down to it. So at the core of everything, we do cover a lot of different animes, and in this one, we'll be covering I Parry Everything. I Parry Everything is a very interesting piece of work. It adds a bunch of different elements of different animes and like slap it all together, like of like your triple A titles, and it just takes a lot of different tropes, and then now we're just smack dab in the middle of one solid parody of a bunch of different animes. But we'll start off by covering our main character, and we're pretty much following the story of Noor. And Noor is a young kid, as we see him at the beginning. He's just a young kid who is really determined and destined to become an adventurer. And he is very, very, very oblivious to a lot of different things. There's he hails from the kingdom of clays, and within it has six different classes, and or six different traits classes uh, to be able to perfect. He goes and takes every class when he was a child and doesn't make it. Doesn't make it in any one of them. He's not able to pick up anything more than just the basic skill in each different class. And he ends up, being pretty much an untalented kid, and he gets sent away. And sadly, we see him become like an underdog. And here's where I say the other elements. Like this reminds me of Sung Jinwoo when he's at the lowest rank of being a hunter, and in this, um, he ends up becoming an E rank adventurer. The guildmaster ends up giving him a an E rank slot, which means he can't do anything physically, like as far as combat, but he can do like fetch quests, like cleaning drains or going to go get other odds and ends, right? Just menial kinds of things. But what is very unique about Noor is that he always wanted to be an adventurer. That was his goal. Like he's still excited about doing that. And what takes a very interesting turn is on one of his fetch quests where he's helping out. I want to say either the mines or something along the lines of that. He's just helping out and doing his thing. We run into a very interesting twist of events where he goes and finds this crazy situation of helping out this woman. This woman is being it's interesting. This woman is being attacked by this huge minotaur. And this another funny element this reminds me of, is it wrong to try to save a girl in a dungeon? Because Belle Cornell is almost in the similar situation, but he's actually saved from the Minotaur by a by Wallenstein, where It just reminds me of the Minotaur situation. But out of all of his traits and his abilities, Noor is a like a bomb, like an atomic bomb when it comes down to parrying. That is the only thing he knows how to do, which is why it leads to him being kicked out of all the other classes because you have to do more than parrying. Well, his parrying abilities actually helped him save the princess of Clays, which is very, very, very is a very funny situation. It's one of those you definitely got to watch, and he ends up saving her. Uh, we then see the normal progression of the show, and that is kind of where we kind of drift off um, from any more really deeper explanations. But Noor ends up being recognized for that, and what ends up coming forward, and I'll use that specific moment. This occurs within the first like two episodes, where he is going against this Minotaur, and Noor is a very, very oblivious guy. Very oblivious. He's so oblivious that he's like worse than Goku oblivious. And it's one of those funny in his oblivious means reminds me of almost kind of like Eminence and Shadow. Watching Sid. Like I said, this anime is almost like it draws from so many different tropes and so many different elements of different animes, and just makes it a huge parody that you just can't. You just see it all happen at once, especially if you've been an avid watcher of other titles. But what makes it super funny with Noor is he ends up saving so much stuff, and he ends up fighting or parrying so many different entities over the course of the like 12 to 13 episodes, that he ends up being super he ends up being super OP. It's very ridiculous. This man is like really strong. He's actually like recognized at some point of the show of his superiority and why they couldn't take him in because of other events that happens in the show. And what is really, really notable about Noor that really, really puts it on a whole new level is not only is he oblivious, but he's also humble. He won't take anything out of he's not a greedy person. The only time he felt that he was taking advantage of anybody was at one point where he was allowed to go on higher ranking at quests due to his ties to the princess, and just moving further from that, he just is a very humble guy, and I really do enjoy that part of it, because not only is he humble, but it's funny. It's hilarious. Like a very funny point to bring out was when he was discussing his reward with the king. They're offering him land, riches, anything. He's just like, I don't need anything. He's like, no, I'm fine. It's okay. And the king has a very hearty laugh that he does all the time. And Noor's like, and he has an inner monologue where he's like, it's so generous. He laughs all the time. And it's very funny inner monologues that happen with Noor. Noor is a very interesting guy. As a matter of fact, when he fights the Minotaur, I want to say that's episode 1. That episode is actually titled "I Parry a Cow" because he thinks it's a cow. It's a raging Minotaur, and this man is just so oblivious. He's like, "Oh, that's an angry cow." And there's other episodes that's just the same thing where Like I parry a frog, but it's really a poisonous dragon. It's crazy. Noor is hilarious. He is by far one of the funniest MCs I've seen in a while. Where like I just naturally enjoyed the MC. Um, and the show is just not meant to be taken too serious. It's a very lighthearted series where you just kind of watch it, get you some good laughs in, and then move on. That is like the huge point of this. There's nothing to really take from this. But Noor himself, interesting individual. I know I'm like harping him way too much, but he is really the with this being like more of like a comedy action anime. There's really not much to talk about. We do have like the Sovereign Six. That little cast is all the leaders that are over each different domain. So you got Sig, Dundark, Mian, Karu, Okin, and Scene. That's I mean that can't really go too far from that, right? And then you have like a few others. Like you have Rolo, which is a later character. I'm not gonna go too far in that, but it's a later character that has a very important part later on. That ties into some funny stuff where Nord goes against a dragon, like a really big ass dragon. You got that's one of the ones you got to just check it out. I'm not gonna give too much on that as well. It's one of those you got to just see it. And then you have we do have Gilbert, which is one of the um one of the king's right hand mans that is very talented. He's actually the combat instructor, and Nord just kind of like dances around him, and that is one of the top tier funniest moments in the show. In my opinion, it's nice, it's sweet, and it's just funny. Like they're training and going at it, and then Gilbert's like, "Oh, I'm about to like kick this dude's butt." They're fighting, and then Nord's just like dodging everything, and then he stops and he's like, in his inner monologue, he's just saying, "Man, he's such a good trainer. I need to let him know to stop taking it easy on me." And then he stops in the middle of the fight and asks Gilbert, "Hey, can you like step it up a bit? Like, you don't have to take it easy on me." Mind you, Gilbert is at his full strength. He's just about at his full strength. Like thinking he's doing something, and Norris just like, "Hey man, can you like do a little something?" And it's just funny. It's funny, and then it continues. And what's funny is anybody who talks to Noor, you could tell the interaction is very awkward. It's socially awkward because his social cues just aren't there. He my man cannot read a room to save his life. He definitely is going back and forth with people and trying to say what he means, and he's very flat with his words. None of his words have like real meaning. Like they're just flat. It's just what he says is what he says, and people just can't take it because it's flat and straight to the point, and there's no workarounds. But what's funny about Noor is his understanding is also bad. It's kind of like him with he reminds me of Goku in this aspect, or almost any other main character like Goku, Naruto, Luffy. The understanding is just bad. So you can explain something quite clear that is like of his doing, and he's just like, "What?" Like, nah, couldn't be me. And he's just hilarious. And then we do have like some other cast members that are important, like King Clays, of course, the father of Lynn, and then you have Ines, which is the shield of technically the shield of the Clay's kingdom, but she's like the personal bodyguard of Lynn. She has an interesting upbringing as well, but she ends up having some issues at the beginning with Noor because considering him an outsider. But she ends up getting over that, and valuing Noor later on in the show. Uh, I'm gonna tell you that this show is worth watching. It's a little side anime. It's nothing worth really. It's nothing, and I say it's nothing worth sitting on the side and like completely just making this your main anime. But if you got time and you want to put something on that's gonna give you some laughs, give you some good little punches and jabs, and something that jogs your memory about other animes that you've seen. This is it. This is definitely it. I won't say, I'm not going to go out the way and say it's top tier. I enjoyed it. I like little things like this. It comes up and it brings you joy. I'll say that this anime is just such a hit, like a hit at home with all of what you needed, that it really brings out a whole different light of, let me just enjoy something. Let me turn something on that's going to give me a couple laughs. If I had to really rate this one, for what it is, for being just a little comedy, little anime, little adventure action comedy, I'm gonna have to say it's like a 9.5. Like definitely a 9.5. And the reason why it's a 9.5 is because I don't have a season two. I don't have a season two. Really, this is a 10 out of 10 for what it is. As far as like your standard little comedy anime that's like a parody of different things. It does what it's supposed to do and gets its point across with, hey, I'm funny. It's a trope. It's all about all your typical RPG little tropes going on, and you got this one kid who is a failure, but really he is not a failure. He's pretty limitless. And later on, like it has this serious undertones of determination, and hard work does eventually get you where you need to be. And then what somebody else's trash, it could be another man's treasure. That is kind of what Noor gives off. And that's what I do like about the anime, is that it does, if you think a little deeper, but not too deep to criticize it, but deep enough of what's going on, Noor ends up being a very very integral part of everything that happens in the show. And of course, there's a lot of funny little, like I said, trope-ish things that occur. But at the end of it, it's so impactful, and it makes you think about the more serious things, but on a light level. Like, he is a very important character. Yes, he had such a crazy upbringing. He doesn't have either one of his parents, and that plays a huge part into most of the show, where a lot of flashbacks of him interacting with his father, and some other situations too. Noor is a very intricate character, and through his oblivious, humble giant mentality, the man has some very, 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 very deep tones of more slice of life situations that do come about, that makes him a very wholesome character. They did good with his character development across the whole show. Don't get me wrong. He's an oblivious, overpowered freak when it comes down to his parrying ability. But if you break it down and get beyond that, it's almost like they kind of like dabbled on One Punch Man with this guy. He's just almost pretty much indestructible and unstoppable. But if you break it down to the bare bones, when you have like the outside the combat thing, he really digs down on a very like heartfelt level. It's like Noor will give you like hit the shirt off his back or his last dime if he could. Now, with that being said, if that's something that's not for you, this anime would definitely be a heavy skip. But if you're into like a little adventure, little action, a crap ton of comedy, this is it. Definitely watch it. It's a solid one. It's definitely something to watch on the side you're waiting to start your next big anime and you want to watch something in between to kind of give yourself a little break from having to like really be glued to the TV, this one's it. It's definitely one of those to just kind of add to the bucket list of silly things to watch in between your heavier things. But outside of that, where you can find this at, you can find this on Hulu. I watched this on Hulu. I'm pretty sure that's where that's the only place it's at. I'm not sure if it's on Crunchyroll. I did catch this on Hulu, and if I'm correct, it's sitting at 12, 13 episodes. There is something about it maybe having a season 2 because how everything kind of like, you know, yeah, it is 12 to 13 episodes. So the it's worth watching. It's worth watching. That's really all I can really give when it comes down to that. It is worth watching. Give it a go. And if you enjoy it, just know that this is one of those animes that is probably not going to be remembered as far as like being ranked anywhere. But when you watch it, you will never forget it. You'll never forget it. But again, thank y'all all for tuning in again to Anime Talks. This is your host, Jay Klein, and we do have a lot more things that are like underway. This was one of those ones I just knocked out. I am waiting on my last 2 episodes of Classroom of the Elite season 4. That show has me in a chokehold. I can't wait to review that season 4. It is something nice. But that does conclude this episode of season 1. Don't know we're having a season 2, but our only season so far of I Parry Everything. And until next time, y'all, thank you.